you today?
Well,
Good.
I feel like I'm late today.
Sorry, yeah, you're announcing, I hope.
I guess yes.
Okay.
This one, yeah. This is my daughter, Delilah. This
Hi,
is Brian.
Delilah. How are you?
Delilah's gonna be a ring girl,
No.
ribbon girl.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless they have somebody else, otherwise Delilah will do crafts, right, Delilah?
Well, that works too.
Yeah. Pick up the here. Right here. Okay, while you wait.
And good morning, and welcome to the Dunn County Fair. I'm Brian Winnikins from Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. As we are just a few minutes away from today's Dunn County Fair's Swine Show, the 2023 Swine Show. And throughout the morning, we will be thanking all of our sponsors as well. Again, please thank all of our video streaming sponsors. Without their help, we wouldn't be bringing you today's Swine Show and also the Beef Show later on this afternoon and the livestock auction tomorrow as well. So please thank you. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including Shannon Crop Services of Menominee. Shannon Crop Services, not only are they a Pip Seeds dealer, they're also your home for all of your crop insurance needs. Al and Bristol Shannon at Shannon Crop Services. Also, Wisconsin Credit Union, serving members for over 80 years. Visit wisconsincreditunion.org. Also, the Chippewa Valley Energy, serving the Chippewa Valley since 1922. Find out more at chippewavalleyenergy.com. Provisions Health Durand, changing the way you experience healthcare Durand. Visit provisions.health for more information. And 24/7 in West Wisconsin Telecom, building smart fiber optic communities from the ground up. Find out more, visit www.t.coop. As again, we'll be starting everything here in just a couple minutes from the Dunn County Fair and the 2023 Dunn County Fair Swine Show. And everything will get underway on a very cloudy morning, wet here at the fairgrounds from all of the rain last night, but much cooler than yesterday. Things should go much, much easier. I know yesterday during the dairy show, at times things were getting cranky. They actually moved the sheep show into the dairy barn because of the heat. Closed the fair early last night due to the heat and the storms. But today we have clouds, temperatures in the 70s. I could have actually used a coat, but then that's just me. Should have brought the coat along. Oh, well. Katie Wantock's laughing at me, but everybody who knows me knows that yesterday I was comfortable. Today I'm freezing. Oh well. But the animals are comfortable, so I guess that's also, it'll make it a lot easier, I think, for the pigs today. And also the beef cattle later this afternoon. So we'll get things underway here in just a couple minutes. Again, hogs this morning, and then beef cattle this afternoon at 1. Maybe get a little bit late into the beef show. It just depends on how the hog show goes here. Normally the nice folks from the fair staff, they help move everything, so we have to kind of make the mad dash across the way. Tomorrow, 5 o'clock, we'll have the livestock auction as well on our YouTube channel, also Facebook page and website. And a reminder that this will be saved to our YouTube channel as well. Durand Broadcasting WRDN will be saved to the channel here probably later on this afternoon. The dairy show has already been posted to the channel. Would be under past live streams if you're looking. So like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Durand Broadcasting WRDN. And click the bell for future notifications as well for future events. But if you missed the dairy show yesterday, you can watch that. That is already on the channel. Also, some of the shows from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair are also at our YouTube channel at Durand Broadcasting WRDN. So just waiting here for a few minutes here. We'll get things underway here shortly. I think there's just a couple of things yet that getting worked up. It looks like we have our judges here. Well, that's important. Katie's here, so she's doing some announcing. So that's important. All the parents are here. Nice crowd underneath the big old oak tree here at the Dunn County Fair. This is always such a great setting for this. I've always liked this with the big oak tree. Actually, a couple big oak trees here. And it does give some shade, even though today it's cloudy. But it's just a perfect setting for today's swine show. And this will be the setting for tomorrow's livestock auction as well. Again, we'll have things getting underway here in just a couple minutes, so stick around and we'll have things, we'll have our first event happening as well. Once again, good morning from the Dunn County Fair. I'm Brian Winnikins from WRDN. Just a few minutes away from our Dunn County Fair Swine Show this morning, so stick around. We'll get things underway here in just a couple minutes. Those of you watching on our Facebook channel at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, hey, put out in the comments where you're watching us from today. Always interested in that. I know some folks yesterday were down in the Florida area as well, so put it in the comments where you're watching us from today. Those of you watching on our Facebook page, put those in the comments if you like. Katie's daughter just scored a 20, and Katie just walked over and took it away. Look at that. Wow. Are you going to get coffee? Is that what you're doing? You are? If you are, can you get me one? Can you? You know what?
We can get coffee. Here, you go with Grandma. We'll say what kind of coffee does Brian
Just plain old black coffee. Now, one of the dollars, though, is for you.
All right.
So you get to keep one of the dollars. Buy candy with that. Katie's like going, really? Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the fair. Fair food, man. All right, we're almost ready to go here in just a couple minutes. And again, those of you, they're getting all of the rest of the ribbons ready and that sort of thing. So they're working on it. We're almost ready to go here in just a minute. Again, those of you watching on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, let us know where you're watching us from today. We'd love to see where folks are coming from. I never really asked that before, but why not? We can you can put it in the comment section. Love to find out where folks are watching us from. I know that there are some folks coming in from or watching from Florida. I think the mayor's mom is one of them. Mayor Milliron's mom. That's nice that she went to get us coffee. I'm just saying. We'll just wait to be served. And actually, while we got a minute here, so
Yeah.
Katie's joining and going to join us. Katie, you're our announcer. So,
Yep.
Katie,
Good morning.
Good morning. I know you have the new gig with Extension, but you're
Yes.
still being able to see what's going on around Dunn County.
Yes.
Is it dry, or did this rain that we've had, is this really going to help us out?
Well, Brian, last week I was over in Green Bay working with some of our funders for some of the projects that we've got going, and we did a little bit of touring over there, and it's kind of like here. It's really spotty, where some areas it looks great. The corn looks good. It's nice and tall. It's tasseling out. It's going to get pollinated here in August, and we're going to get some great yield. But over there, there's lots of pockets of dry corn. It was only, maybe hip high, not even shoulder height, and tasseled out. And so hopefully they get something over there, but I think they're going to be a little short on corn silage, going to have to seek some other protein options this fall.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I think that's all over Wisconsin. I know there's still a drought pocket down in that southwest corner, and there's a lot in that driftless region, there's a lot of pastures. So, we feel for those farmers down there, and hopefully it does rain and that drought kind of lessens a little bit, and so they've got some adequate feed inventory going into fall.
Looking forward to the pig show. This ought to be a lot. Looks like we got a pretty good class of pigs.
Yes, it does. It was apparently relatively cool for some of these youth. We've got we've got one class that's at least 12 hogs that are over 280 pounds. So they got some big boys in there. So yeah, it'll be a great day. We're under the oak trees, and yes, that hot weather passed through. We felt for the dairy that you were announcing yesterday, and the sheep, and those exhibitors, they were real troopers holding out. It felt like 110 degrees. Like I felt like I was in Florida again, but because that's where I was for a professional conference this time last year. But and so it'll be much better today. We appreciate all of the sponsors for both the Dunn County Fair as well as Brian's announcement today, and appreciate him, of course, doing his job and helping to broadcast the shows.
Well, this is going to be a fun time as well. And now your daughter's helping with ribbons, but when is she starting to show?
Oh, sure. So thanks for asking. But my kids, I've got one who's a first-timer this year. She's extremely nervous, and so she's third grade. It's her first year, and so it's really exciting to see a lot of those younger kids now able to show. And so hopefully they don't get too nervous today. The pigs are nice and calm. She's showing beef this afternoon. But I've got 2 6-year-olds that will be doing little britches on Sunday.
Okay,
so, yes,
okay.
Yep.
So you got one showing beef first time?
Yes, yeah. So
no
she's
wonder
got a couple
she's
animals.
nervous.
Yeah, it's a big day for her. So, but for a lot of the kids, regardless if it's their first or their last year, they work with these projects for many, many months. They put in a lot of time and effort, and so yeah, it's great to see them finally able to showcase what the work they've been doing.
Mom, give any advice on that steer or not?
Well, she's not a steer. She's got the pig today, but she's got heifers this afternoon. So no, Mom doesn't provide advice. She's done her work.
Really?
She's done the work.
Okay.
So
you think she's nervous because Mom's watching?
No, she's nervous because the judge is watching.
Okay.
But that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
You're not going to judge afterwards?
No. I try not to, right? That's not the mom's job.
I would. I'm one of those. For Brandy, you did great. But here's what I would have done.
Now, after the auction and the pigs leave on Sunday, then I will provide condolences, because we've already been crying about the pig leaving and sad. But that's these 4-H kids and FFA kids really get attached to their projects. They're really invested in the animal. They take great care of them, and so they do get really sad when it's their last day with them.
You bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you got to get ready. We'll let you go on and out, and it'll be nice to have Katie back here this year as well. Katie Wantak, and I should have asked if Mom was nervous. So Katie, I know. Hey, Katie, I forgot to ask you. Are you nervous for her? Yeah. Okay. Mom's nervous too. Okay. That's. Yeah, I would be just as nervous if Brianna was out there. All right, so we're almost ready to go here. Just a couple minutes with our hog show. Again, thank you to our sponsors, including Synergy Co-op, your local LS and TYM tractor dealer. Visit synergycoop.com for more information. Compeer Financial, a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture and rural communities. Visit compeer.com for more information. Bluff Country Feed and Seed, your Dairyland seed dealer. They also have a new feed mill as well. That's Bluff Country Feed and Seed Mondovi. Visit them online at bluffcountryfs.com for more information. O'Galley Cheese Factory for all of your snacking needs. They feature cheese, locally made beef sticks, sausages, and more. Don't forget the ice cream, too. They're open 7 days a week, Highway 25 Durand. Numbers R Us, your certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor and Daily Money Manager. Visit Numbers R Us online at numbersrus.com. And Pierce Pepin Cooperative Services, your Touchstone Energy partner. Please thank all of our sponsors. They make our broadcasts possible here on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, and website. Please drop them an email, give them a call, visit their business, and tell them thank you for supporting our video streams. Without their help, we wouldn't be able to be here today. So please thank all of our sponsors. It's a nice crowd here at the Dunn County Fair. And again, those of you watching on our Facebook page, let us know where you're watching from. Love to hear and see in the comments. Let us know where you're watching us from today. And so we're just getting some final things with the judge, and then we are going to be ready to go. Again, cloudy day here at the Dunn County Fair. After the rain from last night, that front moved through, and of course, everything's much different. Some folks are like me in the crowd, wearing either a light jacket or even a long sleeve shirt. And so much cooler today. The pigs should be much. They won't be as cranky this later on in the beef show today. I'm sure that the animals will also be much more relaxed, as well as the heat is moved off here. Looks like we still have a chance of some showers today or even into tonight, but overall should be a beautiful weekend for the Dunn County Fair. So if you are close by, have a chance to maybe road trip over to the fair here this weekend, love to see you. Livestock auction coming up tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and we will have coverage of that starting at about 4:55 tomorrow afternoon. And then the auction getting underway right up at 5 o'clock. So again, just we're waiting on some more some extra ribbons. Okay, that's the delay here. All right, so we're waiting for some more ribbons, and then we'll be ready to go after that. Okay, all right. That does make sense, and we will, once we get that, we'll be ready to go. Your home for farm news and markets throughout the entire day is WRDN Radio. We feature 7 hours of farm programming Monday through Friday. It kicks off with the WRDN Morning Farm Report from 5 until 7 a.m. with farm news and markets with yours truly, Bill Baker. Dairy News, Mike Pearson with national news as well, along with our ag weather forecast and some great classic country music too. We have hourly markets during the 9, 10, and 11 o'clock hour. Our noon farm report at about 12:30. Update on news and markets and that ag weather. And then from 1 until 3, it's Chip Flory with AgriTalk with the latest news and issues affecting rural America and the farm markets as well. And then from 3 until 4, it's Mike Pearson with America on Agriculture. Susan Littlefield wraps up our day's programming at about 4:30 with the final bell, where she talks with market analysts from around the country about the grain, livestock, and dairy markets. And listen on air on 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM and on our website at realcountry1430.com. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yep, Brian. The best spot to find the live stream.
They can watch either on our Facebook page or YouTube channel. YouTube is Durand Broadcasting WRDN. have some folks asking again here in the crowd, hey, who can... Again, those of you watching on our Facebook page, sure, we'd love to have you tell us where you're watching from today. Again, waiting for some extra ribbons before we get underway here. For those of you just joining us, a little bit of a delay in the start of the Hog Show, but we will be, looks like we're ready to rock and roll. So.
Good morning. We will be getting the swine show for today. Apologies for the delay, but the judge is here, and we are ready to begin with class number 1, or any other breed. If our one entry for class number 1 could make their way to the show ring, class number 1, number 2 on deck, Berkshire on deck.
All right, so we are ready to go. The Hog Show underway here at the Dunn County Fair as we have our first class here coming in.
While we're beginning the show, we would like to, of course, thank Brian Winnikins. He's here with Durand Broadcasting, WRDN. Live broadcasting the show today. So if you have family members that are not able to join us, feel free to have them watch on WRDN's Facebook page or their YouTube channel, and they can watch the show from there. So thanks again to Brian and WRDN for that live broadcast today.
So we are underway here with the Hog Show. Again, this is any other breed, only one entry in this class.
Well, it's definitely a cooler morning this morning, being able to judge a Hog Show. Better than what we had to deal with at the Sheep Show yesterday. Sweating today, it looks like it's going to be fairly cool, and as long as the rain stays away, I think we're going to have a good day. You start off with this AOB on the Hereford gilt, and one that's big-footed and long-bodied, extended, really stout in terms of her head. One that's got a definitely sound enough, definitely square enough for me. One that's agile on the move. Let's give that young man a big round of applause.
In that any other breed class, first place was awarded to Eli Biesterveld. Now entering the ring will be our purebred Berkshire breeding gilt. On deck, our class number 3, Duroc breeding gilt on deck.
Thank you to our video stream sponsors, including Elsivia Co-op, a leading member-owned agriculture fuel cooperative serving Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. Visit elsivia.com. SFB Security Financial Bank, Durand, River Falls, Eau Claire, Ladysmith, Bloomer, and Black River Falls. Visit them online at sfbank.com. And Prime Realty of Durand, the area's #1 home seller. Visit their website at primerealitymidwest.com.
Nice single entry here in the Berkshire Gilts, and definitely a breed that means a lot to me. I've raised them for quite a few years. One that's sound and comfortable, and she's square. She's agile on the move. She's attractive up front. You can maybe put a little more bone underneath this gilt, but still one that's attractive ahead of her blade. And like I said, she's sound. She's comfortable. She's got some muscle up high. Just give that young man a big round of applause.
In that Berkshire class, first place was awarded to Ryland Homestead. We're now on class number 3, our purebred Duroc gilt. On deck is our Poland China. Class 4 on deck.
Please thank all of our video sponsors for their support of our broadcast. Without their support, wouldn't be able to do our broadcasts today. So visit our sponsors' website, send them an email, give them a phone call, or visit their business and tell them thank you for supporting our video streams from the Dunn County Fair.
Nice pair of Duroc gilts, and two that are fairly different in their type and kind. There's probably some age range between them. Let me go ahead and start off with the young man right over here to my left. One that's sound. She's comfortable. She takes a big step going away. She's still incredibly stout and opened up off both ends of her skeleton. Got a big old top laid into her. I think she's incredibly square. And like I said, she's still plenty sound enough for me. She's tall at the point of her shoulder. It's a nice kind of a Duroc gilt. The one that comes here in second, attractive ahead of her blade. I think she's sound enough on her feet and legs. The problem is for me, she gets just a little out horse today. She wants to get a little flatter through the center portion of her body. I definitely could open her up, but like I said, she's still attractive ahead of her blade. She's extended, she's sound, she's comfortable. Let's give those two young men a big round of applause.
In the Duroc class, first place was awarded to Nate Edwards, second to Hunter Roberts. Now entering the ring is Class 4, our Poland China breeding gilt. On deck, Class 5, Hampshire.
And those of you watching on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM Stereo and 107.3 FM, put in the comments where you're watching from today. We'd love to know. We'd love to see that. As I know we have some folks from Florida that have been watching. They watched yesterday during the dairy show. But let us know where you're watching from in the comments section. We'd love to find out. Welcome those of you. I see we have Michigan represented this morning.
Nice single entry here in the Poland gilts, and one that's from the side. I like that one in terms of the height at the point of her shoulder. I like how good and long she is out of her hip. She takes a good step going right away. One that's good in terms of the length to her head and the length to her neck. One that's still got some shape up high, and she's definitely youthful in terms of her type and her kind. Let's give that young lady a big round of applause.
In that Poland China class, first place was awarded to Emily Zukowski. Now entering the ring is Class 5, our Hampshire breeding gilt. On deck is our larger class of Class 6 Yorkshire breeding gilts. On deck, Class 6.
You get into the Hampshire side, and one, like I said, all day, definitely extended ahead of her blade. She's got some shape and some turn up high. I think she's good enough out of her shoulder. Definitely one that's got some, like I said, got some muscle shape, got some width, got some dimension to her. Let's give that young man a big round of applause.
In that Hampshire class, first place was awarded to Ryland Homestead. We're now entering Class 6, our Yorkshire class. We should have 5 breeding gilts in this class. Class 6 Yorkshire, Class 7 on deck.
Again, as we continue coverage from the Dunn County Swine Show, Brian Winnikins with you from WRDN. Thank you to our sponsors, including Adams Super Service, your Napa Gold Car Care Center downtown Durand, N-Tech, your premier communications and entertainment provider, along with Dunn Energy, your Touchstone Energy partner. Please thank all of our sponsors for their support of our video streams today. Without their help, we would not be able to bring you today's stream of not only the Hog Show, but also Beef Show later on today after 1 o'clock, and the livestock auction tomorrow. So visit our businesses, give them a phone call, drop them an email, tell them thank you for supporting these video streams. Again, they're the ones that make these broadcasts possible. Also, thank you to the Dunn County Fair as well, at the Dunn County Fair Board now as well, for their hospitality, for letting us be
we're
here
on
as
class
well.
number 6. We have one more class of breeding gilts. Then we'll move into our crossbred breeding gilts for today. We would like to thank our judge for driving up from Western Illinois today, McLean Music. He also is a multi-species judge. Like he mentioned, he judged our sheep show yesterday, so we appreciate him staying and doing 2 different shows here at the Dunn County Fair. McLean is a graduate of Blackhawk East and Western Illinois University, and he has judged in 12 states, all across the United States, from Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Florida. He also raises pigs, Berkshire, Poland, China, and Hereford show pigs, showing across the country and in many different shows. So again, let's give a round of applause for our judge for today.
Well, a little bit bigger of a class here in the Yorkshires, and I think I found a gilt that kind of wins quite handily in my opinion. One that's really freshly presented. She's incredibly sound on her feet and legs. I think she's good and clean up through her jawline. She's incredibly stout. She's opened up. She's powerful. I'm not saying she's the most massive-legged gilt. I'm not saying the cleanest. She's the cleanest in terms of the crest of her neck, but she balances really, really well for me. The young man right over here to my left kind of wins this class quite handily, in my opinion. You got a pair of gilts that are a little more similar, and I think they're both very, very good. The young lady's going to go ahead and be second. I think this one is very agile and He's got enough bone. She matches the class winner probably the best in terms of just width and center body and still being able to move and motor. The problem is with this gilt is that she gets just a little wrinkly right there in terms of her hand-blowing junction. Just gets a little plainer right there in terms of her skin and hair. Still a nice kind of a gilt that should be kind of fun to breed on. The young man over here on the far side, it was between the second and third place gilt because I like a lot of pieces of this one. She's got some bone. She's got some featured. She's actually a little longer ahead of her blade than the one that goes here and be second. The problem is you read her through the center portion of her body. She gets just a little harder. She gets just a little more concaved, just a little drier flanked, but still a nice kind of a gilt. One that went out earlier, definitely one that I like in terms of the sharpness to her head and the length ahead of her blade. Problem is she gets out horsed today. She gets a little flatter, just gets a little narrower. One that rounds out the class has got some stoutness and some power, but as you can see, she gets way too short out of her hip. She gets way too restricted going away. Still a nice kind of a gilt. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
So in that class of January purebred Yorkshire gilts, first place was awarded to Nate Edwards and second place to Katie Steinmeier. We'll now be entering our February purebred gilt class. There should be 2 Yorkshires to the ring, and we'll follow this with our champion and reserve champion purebred breeding gilt.
You're watching coverage of the Dunn County Swine Show. From the Dunn County Fair, I'm Brian Winnikins from WRDN. Good morning. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you may be watching from today. Here in Menominee, we have clouds, temperatures really in the low 70s this morning after the storms and rain from overnight. Those of you watching on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, where you watching us from? We'd love to find out. And I know we've got some folks in Michigan, Utah watching this morning. There's some folks from Florida as well that will be jumping on to watch as well.
And these are our purebred breeding gilts. We are in the Yorkshire class. The Yorkshire is the most recorded breed of swine in North America. As you can see from the 2 females in the ring, they are white with erect ears, and they are found in almost every state, with the highest population being in not Wisconsin, but Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, and Ohio. Yorkshires are known for their muscle, lean meat, and low back fat.
That's awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Nice pair of gilts here, and I think that you got 2 that are are, if you put them together, honestly, could make probably the quintessential female in this class, because honestly they got some trade-offs. I'm going to go ahead and use the one that's just sounder, just a little square. She's definitely shorter and a little more compact and probably won't be as extended as the other ones, but one that is just sounder. She's a little more comfortable with the young lady over here. She's a little more, just a little better balanced for me. Now, like I said, she's definitely the shortest. She's probably the most compact and probably won't get as big in terms of her outline and her frame size, but I still think that one's a big back sound, comfortable gilt. The young man over here to my that's going to go out of the ring, definitely stout featured. I mean, that one's opened up, that one's powerful, that one's shaggy, that one's got a big back laid into her. She's stout about her head. For me today, you need to redesign her from her hock to her ground. She definitely pushes the limits in terms of how much width she carries going away. You can definitely clean her up at the crest of her neck, but still a nice kind of a gilt in her own right. Just give these guys a big round of applause.
In that Yorkshire February gilt class, first place was awarded to Brenna Berg, second place to Hunter Roberts. We'll now be naming our champion purebred breeding gilt in today's show. We would ask for the Hereford gilt to come back to the show ring, our Berkshire gilt, Duroc, Poland China, Hampshire, our first place Yorkshire of Nate Edwards, and our first place Yorkshire of Brenna Berg.
All right, so this champion round here at the Dunn County Swine Show this morning.
Again, in the show ring is our purebred breeding gilts for today. After naming of our champion and reserve, we will move on to class number 8, our crossbred breeding gilt. Class number 8 on deck.
Thank you to our video sponsors as well. Synergy Co-op, your local LS tractor and TYM tractor dealer, synergy.com. Visit them for more information. Compeer Financial, a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture and rural communities. Visit compeer.com for more information. Bluff Country Feed and Seed of Mondovi, your Dairyland seed dealer. They also have a brand new feed mill as well. Talk with Matt and the staff at Bluff Country Feed and Seed Mondovi. You can visit them at bluffcountryfs.com. Please thank all of our sponsors for making our broadcast possible.
Well, you get out here for your champion purebred gilt drive, and I think we got a set of females that are definitely good. They're sound, they're comfortable. It comes down between 2 or 3 gilts, in my opinion, and just kind of fit my my type and kind in terms of what I'm trying to make with some show pigs. Now, I'm not saying they're perfect. I mean, they're definitely showing their age just a little bit. They can be cleaned up in an area or two, but I think they're both very, very good. Your champion gilt, in my opinion, just is sound. She's comfortable. She's stout. She's opened up. She's definitely rugged, and she still balances for me. Young man there with the Duroc gilt's going to go ahead and be your champion. Young lady out of the January Yorkshire gilt class is going to be reserved. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In our breeding gilt, our champion was awarded to the Duroc, which is exhibited by Nate Edwards. Our reserve champion was the January Yorkshire class, which was also exhibited by Nate Edwards. Congratulations. Again, we will now be moving on to our crossbred breeding gilt classes. We have 2 classes. Class 8 should be entering the show ring of two gilts, and Class 9 is on deck.
We continue on with our swine show here from the Dunn County Fair. And those of you watching on our Facebook page, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to find out where you're watching from this morning. And Melissa, we hope you're feeling better over in Rock Falls. And it's our pleasure to be able to bring the fair to you at home while you recover from your surgery, Melissa. And hopefully we'll see you next year here at the fair, or if you're able to, come on out to the Buffalo Pepin County Fair next week, or the Pierce County Fair after that. We'll be at both of those fairs too. But those of you watching on Facebook, let us know where you're watching from this morning. We're curious. I know we've had some folks from Florida watching the dairy show yesterday. We've Michigan, Utah's checked in as well. The sun's starting to peek through the clouds here at the Dunn County Fair. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Durand Broadcasting WRDN. Don't forget to click the little bell for future notifications. Today's swine show will be saved to our YouTube channel. That will probably be on the channel late this afternoon. Yesterday's dairy show is there.
And currently in the show ring, we have class number 8, our crossbred breeding gilt. Please have your class 9, our January crossbred gilts on deck.
So again, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Durand Broadcasting WRDN. We have the dairy show from yesterday already on the channel. We have the livestock shows from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair there as well. Of course, we'll have all of our Durand High School sports on the channel as well. And yeah, believe it or not, first football game is 4 weeks away. August 18th, first game.
Nice pair of gilts here on the crossbred side, and we're going to go relatively quickly because it's starting to get sunny out, and these two pigs have a little more white on them, so I don't need them to get sunburned on me. I think they're both very good, and honestly, they have some trade-offs. The similarities that they have is that they're both sound, they're both comfortable, they're both a good ahead of their blade. There's one that's got a little more bone, just a little bit more through the center portion of her body. I still think it's sound and comfortable with the young man right over here at the blue hip gilt. That one's not maybe just the freshest headed gilt in the world, and that's probably where the trade-off with the other gilt has. That second place gilt is very good ahead of her blade. That one is a fresh-headed, good-looking kind of a female that's sound and reaches and motors off both ends of her skeleton. The problem is when you read her through the center portion of her body, she gets just a little harder, just a little bit more two-dimensional. But still, I love the basic build that one brings to the table. Let's congratulate both those exhibitors.
In our February crossbred gilt class, first place was awarded to Nate Edwards, second to Brenna Berg. We're now moving on to class number 9, our January crossbred gilts. We should have 6 pigs to the ring for our January class.
As we continue on with the swine show from the Dunn County Fair. Thank you to Provisions Health, changing the way you experience healthcare. Durand. Visit provisions.health for more information. 24/7 and West Wisconsin Telecom, building smart fiber optic communities from the ground up. Visit wwt.coop. Pierce Pepin Cooperative Services, your Touchstone Energy partner. And Numbers R Us, common sense bookkeeping and more. They're a certified QuickBooks Pro advisor. They're also a daily money manager. Find out more. Visit numbersrus.com. And O'Galley Cheese Factory. Visit O'Galley Cheese for all of your snacking needs. They feature cheese, locally made beef sticks, sausages, and more. O'Galley Cheese Factory open 7 days a week, Highway 25 Durand. Please thank all of our sponsors. They make our video streams possible. Give our sponsors a call. Visit them and send them an email through their websites, or visit their business and tell them thank you for supporting our video streams. from the
Again,
Dunn County Fair.
We're finishing up Class 9 here, our January crossbred gilt. We will then name our champion of our crossbred breeding gilts, followed by our overall breeding champion. So if we could have the reserve and champion purebred gilts on deck for naming of our overall breeding gilt champion.
Well, we got some trade-offs in this class, but again, I think there's a gilt that kind of starts for me, and she fits the show pig style that I'm looking at. And she's not, I'm not saying that she's just the sharpest and just most opened up going away, but in terms of her head, her neck, her jawline, young man over here is going to win. I think that one's stout, that one's square, that one's sound, that one's comfortable, that one balances. That's a quintessential word that I like to use is the word balance. They got to look good, they got to be able to move and motor and still have enough bone, but not so much bone that they look coarse. I think that one's a nice kind of a gilt. Gets really close between second and third. There's one that's a little similar to the class winner in terms of bone and frame size, and I can definitely appreciate that. And then there's another one that's probably a little sharper about her head, brings a little more interesting pieces, but for a January gilt, you question if there's truly enough there. And honestly, there's a few different ways that I can do this. For me today, for a January crossbred gilt class, I'm going to go ahead and use the young man's solid black gilt to be second. That one's sound, that one's comfortable, that one's big-legged. You can definitely open that one up just a skosh. You can definitely change her head and her skull just a little bit, but the basics that she brings to the table are definitely good. And like I said, she's sound, she's comfortable. Young man over here in third, definitely one that's got some interesting pieces. And if this was a lightweight gilt class, it would probably be a different scenario. When you start putting ages on them, then you question: is there enough to this gilt? Is there enough frame size that she's gonna ever get big enough? And that's the thing that I have to question. I like her basic build. I like her muscle shape and the shape to her head. I just need to make her just a little bigger in terms of her overall frame size. The one that comes out here in third, length of body and extension, I definitely like this gilt. And she can get out here and she can motor, and you really break her down. You question if her hind leg has enough set. She definitely needs a little bit more bone, but still one that's got some pieces that can be gravitated towards. The belted gilt that comes out next, a good body gilt. She gets entirely too plain for me. She gets a little more generic in terms of her muscle shape and more generic in terms of her head. The shapely gilt comes out here and rounds out the class, and you got to like this gilt in terms of how much muscle that she has packed into that skeleton, and she's definitely big enough. The problem is she gets too wrinkly over her ham-loin junction, too one-dimensional through the center portion of her body. If we can open her up there, we can definitely move her on up. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In that January crossbred gilt class, first place was awarded to Nate Edwards, second place to Lucas Hausler. We'll now be naming our champion crossbred gilts. We'll have our first place from our February class, exhibited by Nate Edwards, and our first place from our January class, also exhibited by Nate Edwards.
Again, watching coverage of the Dunn County Swine Show. Brian Winnikins from WRDN Radio. Thank you to Chippewa Valley Energy, supporting the 4-H and FFA youth of the Chippewa Valley, along with the entire Chippewa Valley since 1922. Find out more at ChippewaValleyEnergy.com. Wisconsin Credit Union, serving its members for over 80 years. Visit wisconsincu.org. Also, Shannon Crop Services of Menominee. Visit Shannon Crop Services. Their Pip Seeds dealer. Also insurance as well for all of your farm insurance needs. Bristol and Al Shannon with Shannon Crop Services. Sunny Skies CBD of Durand. Visit them online at Sunny Skies CBD.
Well, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I think there was a pair of gilts, in my opinion, that matched together just a little bit better. They're both very, very good. And honestly, I think they're the two gilts that just fit my type and kind. I understand nothing's perfect, but if you want to talk about bone and feature and still being able to get out and motor and still having the shape that I like to look at, the ones I'm going to pick kind of fit that build. Young man here with the lightweight's going to be your champion, and I'm ending up going to go second place out of that class for reserve. Let's give those guys a big round of applause.
All right, our champion crossbred gilt was awarded to the February class exhibited by Nate Edwards and reserve to the January gilt exhibited by Nate Edwards. Now be naming our overall breeding gilt champion. Our champion Duroc was exhibited by Nate Edwards. Our reserve champion Yorkshire was also exhibited by Nate Edwards. And our crossbred were both exhibited by Nate Edwards.
I guess Nate's going to win. Nate's done a heck of a job.
We get out here for your champion female. I think there's two gals that are very similar in their type and kind. And I know there's some judges out there, no matter if you're a college judge or a seasoned judge, they typically go one way. But I think there's one gilt that just kind of fits my bill just a little bit more. And she's stout, she's opened up, she's sound, she's comfortable. I think she's very, very good. Young man's Duroc gilt's going to be your champion overall female.
Our champion breeding gilt was awarded to Nate Edwards and his Duroc gilt. We'll now have the Yorkshire gilt in the show ring for naming of overall reserve champion.
You dropped that Yorkshire out for reserve, and honestly, it gets really close. That crossbred's got a ton of bone and a ton of feature. I think she's very, very good in her own right. You question it, is she just the sharpest headed gilt in the world? And I understand that's not everybody's style, but I think that one's very, very good. You talk about that York gilt as just being so comfortable and so good in terms of all her breeding value. She's sound, she's comfortable, she's got a big top plate into her, and she's still opened up. I think she's got enough bone to balance for me. She's going to be your reserve. Let's congratulate that young man.
And our reserve overall breeding gilt was awarded to the Yorkshire class exhibited by Nate Edwards. So congratulations, Nate, on exhibiting some fantastic breeding gilts today. We'll now move on into our market gilt classes. Our purebred market gilt class 10. Please make your way to the show ring. Our purebred market gilt Durocs to the show ring.
Again, as we continue coverage of the Dunn County Swine Show from the Dunn County Fair, I'm Brian Winnikins from WRDN. Hope you're enjoying our coverage this morning on our YouTube channel at Dunn Broadcasting WRDN. Also our website at realcountry1430.com and also our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM Stereo and 107.3 FM. Those of you watching on Facebook, let us know where you're watching from. We're curious to find out where folks are watching the show from today. We've had Florida, Michigan, Utah, Tennessee all check in, and Wisconsin too, just down the road. So again, let us know where you're watching the show from today.
Again, currently in the show ring is class 10, our purebred Duroc gilts, class 11 and class 12. Please be on deck.
get out here for your the Duroc, what I would consider market gilts for what we're showing here today. I think there's two completely different styles. One that just fits my build just a little bit more in terms of being super sound, super flexible, ultra square, big bodied, and still opened up. She's very good at the head of her blade. The young lady is going to go ahead and win your class. Now the one that comes here in second maybe has a little more bone, probably has a little more length of body, and I can definitely understand that. She's a little too relaxed right over her loin edge, meaning that she wants to dip her back just a little bit more. She's not quite as comfortable going right away. I gotta like her bone. I like her feature that she brings to the table. I just need to make her more comfortable to move her anywhere higher. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In the Duroc Market Gilt class, first place was awarded to Miranda Creaser, second to Luke Pemper. Now entering the ring is class 11, our purebred Market Gilt Hampshire. On deck, our Spot Market Gilt, and class 13, Yorkshire Market Gilts.
How'd you like to win $500? Well, you still have a chance. All you have to do is tell us, why do you listen to WRDN, or why do you listen to the radio? Visit whyilisten.com and tell us, why do you listen to the radio? And you can win $500 from WRDN and the National Association of Farm Broadcasting. We draw that winner on Monday.
Nice single entry here. I'm going to try to keep this show moving just a little because it's starting to get a little warm, and I do about as good in the heat and humidity as a pig does, which honestly is not very good. So, because I'm a redhead and I burn really, really easy. So you get out here in the Hampshire Gilt, and I think one that honestly could have played in the breeding gilt portion because I think she's sound, she's comfortable, she's got some width, she's got some substance to her. I think that she moves good enough out of her hip, or as good as a Hampshire can. I think that one's got some shape up high. She's still got some length ahead of her blade. Yeah, you can maybe fix her in terms of the angle to her shoulder, but I still think that's a nice kind of a female. Let's give those guys that young lady a big round of applause.
Hampshire Market Gilt class, first place was awarded to Aubrey McClelland. Next entering the ring is class 12, our Spot Market Gilt. Again, class 13, Yorkshire Market Gilt on deck.
Another nice single entry here on the spotted side, and one that's sound, one's comfortable, good in terms of her top line, good ahead of her blade. You can maybe deepen her in terms of her flank just a shade, but still a nice kind of a gilt. Let's give that young lady a big round of applause.
First place in the Market Purebred Gilt class, the Spot was exhibited by Megan Prochnow. Now entering the ring is class 13, Yorkshire Purebred Market Gilts. Class 13 to the show ring.
Those of you watching on our Facebook page, let us know where you're watching from this morning. I'm curious to find out. Had Michigan and Tennessee, Utah, all checking in. Florida was watching yesterday during the dairy show. Let us know where you're watching from, those of you watching on our Facebook page.
And a reminder that the show will be saved to our YouTube channel, where it's also being broadcast right now. Duran Broadcasting, WRDN. The show will be saved to that channel. So like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have yesterday's dairy show there. We also have livestock shows from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. And the swine show today will be posted by later this afternoon. Beef show coming up as well this afternoon at about 1 o'clock.
Again, this is our last class of purebred market gilts. We'll be naming our champion and reserve champion purebred gilt following this class 13. Then we'll move on to our crossbred market gilt classes.
Well, we got a pair of gilts up here that are plenty different in their kind. There's one that's just a little fresher in terms of her head and in terms of her shape. You can definitely tell she's a little younger and she's a little lighter. And when you put them all out here together, the heavyweight doesn't always just automatically win, especially when the lighter weight one is just a little fresher, just a little sounder, just a little more comfortable with the young lady in the orange shirt. I'm not saying that one is just the most massive right through the center portion of her body cavity quite yet, but I think that one, give that one some time, that one's gonna be good. I think that one still reaches. The motor's good enough going away for a market gilt. That's a nice kind of a gilt. The young man over here in second, I love the stoutness and the power and the hip shape, the top shape this one brings to the table. Problem is she's moving just a little too much like a Yorkshire, which I don't mean as a bad thing. What I mean by that is she just gets a little steeper, just a little shorter out of her hip, coupled with the fact that she's definitely a little staler, a little older about her head. She just doesn't balance quite as well. I do like the stoutness and the power and the upheadedness this one brings to the table. I mean, it was close between that pair. I ended up going the way that I did. The young lady that comes over here next is a nice stout featured basic kind of a market hog. I like the width, I like the power. For me today, she gets a little chuffier in terms of her head and her neck. She needs to be squared up just a shade going away. For a market gilt class, I think she's definitely sound enough. I think she's comfortable enough, and she brings the next most true width, shape, and power in this class. She could definitely be just squared up just a shade more, but I think that's a nice kind of a gilt in her own right. The young man that comes out next, in terms of top side shape, I do like this gilt. I think this one's got some turn and some shape up high. She's got some width and some center body to her, and she's definitely sounding comfortable. You get right behind her, she gets a little more generic. She wants to close in just a shot more underneath. Doesn't have the bone that the gilt's right ahead of her head. But from the side, I like her in terms of how she moves the motor. We can definitely just open her up just a shade more to going right away. The next gilt that comes out here in 5, definitely one that's sound. She's comfortable. She's got some bone. She gets a little bit more generic in terms of her overall muscle shape. I do like her build. I like the basics that she brings to the table for a market gilt setting. We just need to open her up just a shade. And on down the line, I think we got a set of hogs that they're all sound. They're all comfortable, and that's all fine. But when you get into a market setting, we need to open them up. We need to give them just a shot more true muscle shape and power and bone and feature and all the other things that we like to say to move them anywhere higher. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In the Yorkshire Purebred Market Gilt class, first place was awarded to Miranda Creaser, second to Nate Edwards. We're now moving on to naming of our champion Purebred Market Gilt. We will have our Duroc, exhibited by Miranda Creaser, our Hampshire, exhibited by Aubrey McClelland, the Spot, exhibited by Megan Prochnow, and the Yorkshire, also exhibited by Miranda Creaser.
Milk markets have turned a bit lower from the Dunn County Fair. I'm Brian Winnekins with this market update at the Mercantile Exchange. August milk down 3 to 16.93. September down 4 to 17.31. October steady at 17.97. And November milk now down 10 at 18.38. Live and feeder cattle markets, they are moving mostly higher weakness in the grain markets, helping to support live and feeder cattle markets. Hogs as well, along with some short covering. And again, that positive export inspections report, August live cattle up 40 cents to 178.45. August feeder cattle up 70 cents to 245.35. And August hogs now up 75 cents to 102.77. Chicago Board of Trade, corn, soybeans, and wheat all moving mostly lower as the weather forecast is turning a little bit more moderate, especially on the temperatures, also on the moisture side as well.
We get out here for champion purebred market gilt, and honestly, I think we got some quality out here. You got a set of hogs that they're sound, they're comfortable, they move, and their motor as good as what I want to see. I mean, you talk about the differences between them, and when you talk about market hogs, it's just like barrows. You got to have some turn and some shape up high. You got to have some turn and some shape going away. You also have to have some power coming right at you. And this is a pig show, so we like them to be fresh. We like them to be good ahead of their blade. I mean, that Duroc gilt, you really got to like that one's basics. You got to like that one's width and power and shape. And, you know, is she just a shade breeding gilt for some guys in terms of a market gilt setting? I guess she is. She could be just a little sharper up high. That's either the hair covering over her shape, or maybe she just gets a hair general in terms of a market gilt setting. But you really got to like the parts and the pieces that one brings to the table. Got to like the Hampshire in terms of the leanness and the shape. And maybe, like I said in class, she could be fixed at the point of her shoulder just a little bit. But that one still, for a Hampshire gilt that can get out and go as well as she can, I like that one quite a bit as well. The spotted gilt, got some bone, got some feature. The basics are definitely covered. And then you talk about that Yorkshire gilt as just being a fresh-headed, good hip kind of a female that still has some shape and some turn up high. When we talk about market gilt setting, there's one gilt that kind of fits my bill a little bit. She's not for everybody, and I'm not saying that she is, but I think she's good enough for me. The young lady with the Yorkshire gilt's going to go ahead and be your champion. The Duroc gilt's going to be your reserve. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
Our champion purebred market gilt was awarded to both champion and reserve to Miranda Creaser, champion to the Yorkshire, and reserve champion to the Duroc. Congratulations, Miranda. Now entering the ring, we're moving on to Class 14, our first class of crossbred market gilts. Class 14, gilts weighing in range 231 to 259 pounds. Class 14 to the show ring.
Watching coverage of the Dunn County Swine Show from the Dunn County Fair. I'm Brian Winnikins from WRDN. Hope you're enjoying the coverage this morning. Those of you watching on our Facebook page, let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to. We're curious to find out where folks are watching from this morning on Facebook. Again, at our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM.
Okay, looks like we have 10 pigs in the ring for Class 14. Again, we're on Class 14. Our first class, our lighter weight class of crossbred market gilts. We'll follow this with Class 15.
Later this afternoon, we will have coverage from the beef show here at the Dunn County Fair. Coverage at about 1 o'clock. All depends on how fast the hog show goes here. We'll have to make the mad dash from here under the oak trees over to the cattle arena. Break it all down and reset it all up. So it does take a few minutes to do that.
Okay, let's go down to the other end, and as we start spinning them, we'll start handing over.
Your home for farm news and markets throughout the entire day is WRDN Radio. We have 7 hours of farm programming Monday through Friday. It kicks off with the WRDN Morning Farm Report, 5 to 7 a.m. Farm news, markets, news with Bill Baker on the dairy side, also Mike Pearson as well, and some classic country music too with the Morning Farm Report, 5 to 7 a.m. Hourly markets during the 9, 10, and 11 o'clock hours. Our noon farm show at about 12:30 with the midday market updates and farm news and ag weather as well. Then it's Chip Flory with Agro Talk from 1 until 3 with the issues of the day, not only farm news, but also the issues affecting the markets as well. Mike Pearson has America on Agriculture from 3 until 4. And then Susan Littlefield wraps up our farm programming during the day at about 4:30 with the final bell. Susan talks with market analysts from around the country on the livestock, grain, and dairy markets. So be listening for farm news and markets throughout the entire day on WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM. And you can always listen online at our websites at realcountry1430.com.
Again, we're on Class 14, our crossbred market gilts. This is our lightweight class. Following, we'll have Class 15. The judge oftentimes talks about structural soundness. And so in case you're wondering what that is, he's looking at some characteristics like sloping shoulder, forearm, and pasture in the pig. If they have a level rump, high tail setting, proper set to the hock joint, spring or flex in the hock. They have a pig has a level top on them. Maybe moderate length of the neck, large, even-sized toes, and even legs that are placed squarely under the body. Those are some of the characteristics found in structural soundness.
we got some parts and pieces out here that you can gravitate towards. But for me, there's one in terms of market gilt, one that just balances really well. She's stout, she's square, she's mobile. She's still has clean up through her head, and I think she's got some shape up pie, and she's wide enough for me. And what gets her for me is that she actually moves, and she uses her hind leg incredibly well. Young man right over here to my left is going to go ahead and win the class. I'm not saying that one's just a freakishly acceptable headed one. That one could be just a little extended up there, but still a nice kind of a pig. Young man right over here, I felt for him because he was having some difficulties getting him out in the middle of the ring. But when I saw him come in, I'm like, yeah, that one's going to be on the top end rather easy. That in terms of a market hog, that one's opened up. That one's square. That one's stout. That one's powerful. He's got tons of shape up high. That one's probably got just a notch more actual shape going right away. The problem is when you read them from a structural standpoint, comparative to the one that starts the class, gets just a little straighter from hock to ground. Could be just a touch more mobile, but you still got to like the shape that one brings to the table, the show pig influences, and that one is very, very good. The one that comes out next, I like in terms of top side shape. I like that one's build. Love the bone underneath this gilt. For me today, she just doesn't balance quite as well. She gets just a little cresty headed. She needs to be opened up just a skosh more going right away, but that one is still a nice kind of a hog from the basics that we're looking for in the class. That one needed to be in the top trio. The one that comes out next and 4 and 5, definitely ones that are stout. They're opened up. They got tons of shape up high. They're not quite square enough for me. They get just a little out in terms of their hind leg. They can be fixed in terms of their shoulder. This one coming out next, that one's stout and hairy as any. That one's extended ahead of his blade, but as you can see, that one needs to be fixed in terms of his hind leg. He needs to be squared up just a little bit more. 6 and 7 coming out, 6 and 7 coming out. I think a pair of hogs that are, they got some length to body. They got some turn up high. We need to give them more bone. We need to give them more feature and open them up through the base of their chest on down the line. A set of hogs that are sound and comfortable. We just need to open them up and give them more feature to move them anywhere higher. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In Class 14, our lightweight crossbred market gilt class. First place was exhibited by Nate Edwards, second, Cashton Steinmeier, and third by Miranda Creaser. We're now moving on to Class 15, our medium weight class of crossbred market gilts. These hogs weighed 261 to 284 pounds. Class 15 to the show ring.
Watching coverage of the Dunn County Swine Show this morning. Brian Winnekins with you from WRDN. Thank you for watching this afternoon.
Last call for Class 15. Last call for Class 15.
Thank you to our sponsors, including Provisions Health of Duran, changing the way you experience healthcare. Visit provisions.health for more information. 24/7 and West Wisconsin Telecom. Building smart fiber optic communities from the ground up. Find out more. Visit www.coop. Pierce Pepin Cooperative Services, your Touchstone Energy partner, and Numbers Are Us. Common Sense Bookkeeping and more. They're a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor and Daily Money Manager. Visit them online at numbersareus.com. Please thank all of our sponsors. Give them a call. drop them an email, visit their business, and tell them thank you for supporting our video streams from the Dunn County Fair. Without their help, we would not be able to bring you today's swine show or the cattle show, or the beef show later today, livestock auction, dairy show yesterday. So please thank all of our sponsors. Also, thank the Dunn County Fair Board as well for inviting us here and allowing us to video stream our livestock shows. Let them know, Deb and the staff at the Dunn County Fair, and tell them that thanks for having us here. And those of you watching on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, let us know where you're watching from. I'd love to find out. Seems to have Nashville, Milwaukee, Michigan today, Utah over in Salt Lake City. Let us know where you're watching from. Rock Falls as well.
Again, we're on class 15, our crossbred market gilts that weighed 261 to 284 pounds. Now, many of these animals will be auctioned off on Saturday evening during the Dunn County Fair's livestock auction. Our buyer's reception begins at 4 p.m. and the sale starts at 5 p.m. We'd like to thank all of the 2022 buyers for buying animals last year, and hopefully we'll see you again Saturday evening, 5 p.m. for the Dunn County Fair livestock auction.
Well, we got a trio of gilts up here that kind of rise to the occasion, and honestly, they got some trade-offs. The one that starts the class in terms of a market gilt, I like this one with the young lady that's in the center of the ring, one that's stout and square, opened up, sound, and comfortable, but with the market fundamentals as well. That one's got plenty of shape up high. That one's long enough from the side, but doesn't come too long where her structure is compromised. I think that one's stout-headed, but still balances really well. She's neat and tidy up through the base of her jawline. She moves and motors out of her hip and her hind leg good enough for me. It's a nice kind of a gilt. One that comes over here in second, a very fresh-headed gilt, definitely one that's sound and comfortable from the side at least. I love the shape and turn that one has up high. For me today, I need to square her up from her hock to her ground. She wants to push her the limits just a little bit more where she wants to land her rear feet, but still a nice kind of a gilt in terms of a market hog. I like the neatness to her head. I like the freshness that she brings to the table. The one that comes here in third is a nice basic kind of a hog. The stout, that one's stout, that one's square. It's got a big top laid into him. Gets a little more generic in terms of the shape to his head. It gets just a little more generic going right away. You gotta like the basics that one brings. Like I said, you got plenty of shape up high. That one's sound and comfortable when he wants to be. I think that one's a nice kind of a pig as well. One that comes out here next, the red belted, big frame, long bodied, big backed, opened up kind of a hog. He's a nice kind of a market hog. For me today, I need to lay him back to the angle to his shoulder. I just need to redesign him in terms of the size of his foot. But that's a nice kind of a hog that's got some width, got some substance. The one that comes out next, ginormous legged kind of a bear. barrel that's got some turn of pie for me today. When you get right behind him, I need to open him up. Drive him right at me. He needs to be cracked open through the base of his chest, but that's a stout-headed barrel that's got some bone, got some feature, got some hair on him. We just need to open him up just a little bit more. The one that comes out next, definitely a sound structured, comfortable barrel that's got some weight to him. For me today, I just need to freshen him up in terms of the shape that he has up high. It gets just a little more generic for me, but still a nice kind of a hog. And on down the line, set of hogs that we either need to redesign structurally or just give them more muscle to be anywhere higher today. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
Class 15, our crossbred market gilt class. First place was awarded to Mariah Creaser. Second place to Nate Edwards. Third place to Maddox Johnson. Congratulations. We're now moving on to Class 16, our final class of crossbred market gilts. These hogs weighed 289 to 307 pounds. Again, Class 16 to the show ring.
Thank you to our video stream sponsors, Synergy Co-op, your local LS tractor dealer. Visit synergycoop.com for more information. Compeer Financial, a member-owned farm credit cooperative serving and supporting agriculture and rural communities. Visit compeer.com for more information. Also, Bluff Country Feed and Seed, your Dairyland seed dealer, and also featuring feed. They have a new feed mill, Bluff Country Feed and Seed Mondovi. Visit them online at bluffcountryfs.com. And O'Galley Cheese Factory, for all of your snacking needs, featuring cheese, locally made beef stick sausages, and more. O'Galley Cheese Factory, Highway 25, Durand. Please thank all of our sponsors. Drop them an email, give them a phone call, visit their business, and tell them thank you for supporting our video streams from the Dunn County Fair. Without their help, we wouldn't be able to be here today, so please thank all of our video stream sponsors. Well, there's always one that wants to run. Oh, trying to take out the judge. Oh. Well, there's one that likes to run. This one just wants to run. Look at him go. All right.
Nice class of 4 heavyweight bears. We're getting towards the weight range where there's a little more fat coverage that starts to lay on the skeleton, and that's why we like to have our market hogs at not really a lightweight, but typically around that 260 point. But the one what I'm dealing with in this class, I think we got a set of hogs that are good. They're sound. They're comfortable. They got some muscle. The one that starts the class has got the most bone and feature and just balances really well. He could be a little more extended up front, but I think down in terms of just rib cage and width up high and being the type and kind that I like to look at, the young man right here in front of me is going to go ahead and win the class. That one's still stout. That one's still square. That one's still mobile. That's a nice kind of a barrel. The young lady, solid black one that comes here in second, is the next best in terms of just bone and feature and still having some turn and shape up high. I'm not saying that one's the most opened up going right away because he definitely isn't, but that one's still sound. That one's comfortable. That one's angles read right in terms of his hind leg movement. If we can just open them up just a shade, we can definitely move that one up. One that's got some extra width going right away is the one that comes out next, but my problem with him is he's definitely pushing the limits in terms of just overall body coverage. He wants to get just a little plainer in terms of his shape. He wants to just drop down just a little bit more fat than what I'm dealing with or what I'm willing to deal with. That one's still sound. That one's still comfortable. You can tell that one's got some width and some power to him. At this weight range, like I said, he's just pushing the limits in terms of body condition, but still a nice kind of a hog. The one that rounds out the class, you can definitely tell this one can move and motor as well as any. I just need to see more muscle in this hog to move from anywhere higher. Let's give these 4 exhibitors a big round of applause.
In that Class 16 of crossbred market gilts, first place was exhibited by Nate Edwards, second place by Megan Prochnow, And third place by Mackenzie Cleland. Fourth by Miles Brenner. Congratulations. We're now moving into naming of our champion crossbred gilt. If the first place from our lightweight class, exhibited by Nate Edwards. First place from our medium class, exhibited by Mariah Creaser. First place from our heavyweight class, exhibited by Nate Edwards. Please make your way to the show ring. Second place in each of those classes, please be on deck for naming of reserve champion.
Thank you to our video stream sponsors this morning, including Sunny Skies CBD of Durand. Visit Sunny Skies CBD's website for CBD products, not only for yourself, but even for your pets from Sunny Skies CBD of Durand. Also, Shannon Crop Services of Menominee. Shannon Crop Services, your Pip Seeds dealer. Also providing crop insurance for the farm. Chat with Bristol and Al Shannon from Shannon Crop Services of Menominee. Also, Chippewa Valley Energy is supporting our 4-H and FFA. Chippewa Valley Energy, visit them online at ChippewaValleyEnergy.com. And Wisconsin Credit Union, serving members for over 80 years. Visit wisconsincu.org.
There's one out here that just kind of fits my comfort just a little bit more. Plenty extended enough, but still balances. Got plenty of bone and got plenty of feature, and still covers the market fundamentals in terms of shape and turn up high and having plenty of shape going away, and still sound, still comfortable on the move. Young lady out of the middle class is going to be your champion crossbred market gilt.
Champion crossbred market gilt is exhibited by Mariah Creaser. Second place in that medium class was exhibited by Nate Edwards. We'd have the hog brought to the show ring.
Drop that second place out here. I think that one definitely fits in the mix, but I think there's another one in terms of bone and feature that just matches my type and kind, and she might be pushing the weight limits just a little bit, but I don't really care. Out here, she is the next best young man out of the heavyweight class. Is going to be reserved. Let's congratulate him.
Our reserve champion crossbred market gilt was exhibited by Nate Edwards. Congratulations. That completes our gilt classes for today. We're now moving on to our barrow classes. We'll start with class number 17. 2 entries for our Berkshire purebred market barrows.
All right, on to the barrows now. As we continue on with our swine show here at the Dunn County Fair. Brian Winnikins with you. As a partly sunny type of day today here at the Dunn County Fair, but temperatures much cooler than we've had yesterday, that's for sure.
You get out here on the Start Your Barrow show, and here in the Berkshire Barrow Drive, I've shown quite a few Berkshire Barrows that have done rather well at the national level and the state level, and it's a breed that I have a passion for. Honestly, I think both of them can maybe be changed in an area or two, but I think both of them also have some similarities about them. One, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the young ladies barrow, and just in terms of muscle shape up high and still being able to get out and motor, I think that one's good. In terms of width and power off both ends of his skeleton, but still being square, I like that one quite a bit. He can be stoutened up in terms of his head and just extended a little bit. I understand that it's a Berkshire thing, but that one still, if you want me to be critical, I think that one could be just extended just a shade, but still a nice kind of a hog. A bigger outline barrow comes out here in second, one that's still sound and comfortable and square. I think one that can get out and move and motor. For me today, he just needs to be opened up. He needs to be just a little bit wider going right away. You need to give him just a touch more shape up high. Still a nice kind of a barrow in his own right. Let's give those two exhibitors a big round of applause.
In the class 17, our Berkshire class, first place was exhibited by Emily Zukowski, second place by Rylan Homestead. We're now moving on to class 18, our Chester Whites. 2 entries in this Chester White Purebred Market Barrow class. Class 19 on deck.
We have 8 more classes to go after this class.
Nice pair of Chester Barrows. There's one that's just got a little more bone, just a little more feature. Definitely a little sharper and fresher in terms of his head, while still maintaining that extra width and shape up high. Young man right here in front of me is going to win the class. Now, I'm not saying he's just an overly stout Barrow going right away, but I think that one's still sound. That one's comfortable. That one's kind, definitely reads right for me. One that comes here in second. I like the width and the power that he brings on the top side of his skeleton. You can definitely see he can get around and motor as good as any. For me today, I need to add more bone underneath of him. I need to stouten him up in terms of his head and his jawline to move him anywhere higher. But just give these 2 exhibitors a big round of applause.
In that Chester class, first place was awarded to, hello, pig.
Oh, we've got one.
Pig wanted to be announced.
I was about to say, I think Katie, the pig wants to be on.
In that Chester class, first place was awarded to Drew. Apologize, Drew Pesa. Thank you very much, audience. Drew Pesa. Second place to Cashin Steinmeier. We're now in class 19, Durox. On deck, class 20, Hampshire.
Katie, the pig just wanted to help, you know.
We have a total of 26 classes today. We are on class 19, our purebred market barrows. Class 20, Hampshire, should be on deck. Again, we just had a question why all the animals in the ring are the same color. These are all purebred, so these are all the same breed, Duroc, which is the second most popular breed in the U.S. The Durocs have droopy ears, are valued for their product quality, their carcass, their fast-growing, and lean gain efficiency. Much of the breed is found in Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, and Nebraska.
Down to the last 2, and it's a tough one for the judge.
we got a pair or a trio of Duroc barrels up here on the top end. And honestly, there's some parts and pieces that I like, but they all have similarities that make them rise to the top. They're all tall at the point of their shoulder. They're all big-footed. They're all sound. They're all comfortable. There's one that's just a little bit fresher in terms of his head and his neck. He's just a little fresher in terms of the shape that he has up high. He's not wanting to behave today, but that doesn't really matter to me. I think he's sound enough for a barrow. I think he moves and he motors good enough for a barrow. The only question that I had is there enough just true bone underneath his hog? I think enough is the key term. I think he does have enough. Is he overwhelming? No, he isn't. But in terms of a market hog scenario, I think he works for me. Is everybody going to pick him? I don't know, but he works for me. The young lady here in the center of the ring is going to go win the class. Young lady over here is going to be second. I think this one, in terms of bone, feature, and look and design, I like this one. You can definitely tell this one's been shown before. You can definitely tell this one about 10 to 20 days ago probably looked incredibly good. I think this one has the basics down pat, and I think he does have shape. The problem is he's definitely a little heavier, a little older of a barrel. He gets just a little staler right up high. He maybe gets just a little staler in terms of the crest of his neck, but that's being really critical because I actually love the shape to his hind leg. I think he moves and he motors really, really good. When he came out in the ring, I thought he was going to win quite handily, but it got really close up there. And when you get into a barrow class where they all have to show together, I went with the extra freshness. One that comes here in third, bone and features not a problem on this hog. The problem with this one is that he just needs to be laid back into the angle to his blade. I like the type and the kind that he brings to the table because his rear third of his skeleton is very good, and he's got muscle shape up high. Structurally, we just need to lean him back into the angle to his blade. It's still a nice kind of a hog. Sound hog comes out next. Definitely one that, or a sound pair of hogs that come out next. A pair of hogs that are very good on their feet and legs. Problem is we just need to give him more muscle shape to move him anywhere higher. And a stout powerhouse barrow that rounds out the class. Definitely one that's opened up and really, really powerful off both ends of his skeleton. Problem is he's way too compact for me. He gets entirely too short in the angle or entirely too short in terms of his head and his neck. He needs to be redesigned from the hock to the ground and just make him bigger and just make him more extended to move him anywhere higher. Very nice class of Duroc barrows. So give these guys a big round of applause.
In our Duroc Purebred Market Barrow class, first place was exhibited by Emily Zukowski, second place by Mariah Creaser, third place by Sam Steinmeier. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 20, our Hampshire. One entry in our Class 20.
Well, it looked like we had a single entry here on the Duroc side. One that's tall at the point of his shoulder. He's good in terms of his design. He reaches and he goes really good. Maybe you want to clean him up in terms of his sheath and maybe just give him a touch more bone, but still a nice kind of a hog. Let's give that young lady a big round of applause. Show for your champion Duroc.
In that Duroc class, the Market Barrow was exhibited by Emily Zukowski. Now we're moving on to the Hampshire class.
Well, to keep things moving, I remember these hogs plenty well, and what I'm going to do, and I hope everybody understands what I'm going to do here. Your champion Duroc is going to go ahead and be the Class 1 Duroc. The reserve is actually going to be the second place out of Class number 1. Let's give those two exhibitors a big round of applause.
That was champion Duroc Market Barrow. First, champion and reserve were both exhibited by Emily Zukowski. Now we're moving on to Class 20, our Hampshire class.
Again, hope you're enjoying coverage of our live hog show this
reserve
morning.
champion exhibited by Mariah Creaser.
Those of you watching on our Facebook page, WRDN 1430 AM stereo on 107.3 FM, let us know where you're watching from. Had folks from Michigan and Utah, and Milwaukee,
Nice single
Tennessee.
entry here in the Hampshire side, and one that definitely fits its breed plenty well in terms of being true to having the muscle shape and the leanness that it brings to the table. It's definitely marked right, one that's opened up, one that's square, coming right at you, and still extended ahead of his blade. Just give that young man a big round of applause.
Class 20, our Hampshire Market Barrow, was exhibited by Ryland Homestead. Now entering the ring, which should be our Poland China, our Class 21. Class 22 Spot and Class 23 Yorkshire on deck.
Nice single entry. Like I told the young lady, I know how Poland Chinas are going to act. As you know, as I raised some, I've dealt with them for a long time. So we're going to keep this moving. This one's got a big top and a big hip laid into him. He's definitely square coming at you. He's definitely true to the breed, where he's acting a way a Poland should. I think he's still sound. I think he's still comfortable. Let's give that young lady a big round of applause.
Our Poland China Purebred Market Barrow was exhibited by Emily Zukowski. Now I'm entering the ring, Class 22, our Spot Market Barrow. Class 23 Yorkshire, please be on deck.
You can listen to WRDN anytime, anywhere. Just visit our website at realcountry1430.com. And the player is just on the left-hand side of the website. Also with Alexa, just download the WRDN skill. And after you download the skill, just say, Alexa, play WRDN. Thank you to Adam Super Service and Prime Realty of Durand, our streaming audio sponsors. And when you're listening to our streaming audio, you're actually listening to an over-the-air AM radio. We broadcast in AM stereo, and so we use an AM stereo radio for our live stream.
Again, now entering the show ring should be our Spot Market Barrow, Class 23 Yorkshire on deck.
You can hear how an AM radio can and should sound. The reason it doesn't sound like that in your car is because the vehicle manufacturers put in very, very cheap parts to save a few pennies. Let the car companies know, look, if you're going to pay $70,000 for a new vehicle, you should have at least a decent AM radio in it. You can hear how AM radio can sound through our website at realcountry1430.com. Listen to our streaming audio through our website or through Alexa, Google Home as well. Our stream is fed by an AM radio, an actual over-the-air AM radio, an AM stereo receiver. As we continue on with the swine show, beef show coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon.
We have one single entry in our Spot Market Barrow class, so please, Class 23 Yorkshire, make your way to the show ring.
Nice kind of a spotted market hog, one that's sound and comfortable, long-bodied and extended. He can use a little more bone, but I still think it's a nice, sound, functional kind of a market hog in his own right. Let's give that young lady a big round of applause.
The Spot Market Barrow was exhibited by Elizabeth Weinzerl. We'll now have 12 hogs entering the ring for our large Yorkshire purebred market barrow class. Class 23, Yorkshire to the show ring.
All right, we got a whole bunch of pigs coming in now. 12 coming into the ring for this class. So there'll be a lot of traffic here.
This will be our final purebred market barrow class. Following this, we'll name our champion purebred market barrow. Then we'll move on to the crossbred market barrow classes, starting with class 24. Again, in the ring, we have our purebred Yorkshires. The one breed we did not see today was Landrace, very similar to the Yorkshire in color. They're both white, but the Landrace has droopy ears and is known as America's sow herd, as they are heavy milkers, often farrow, larger pigs. So there are 8 popular breeds of swine, and we've seen a majority of all of them today except the Landrace.
Well, narrowing the field down.
Again, this is our larger class here of Yorkshires. These purebred market barrows weighed 242 to 308 pounds. Some of these kids, again, will be auctioning off their animals Saturday evening. Buyer's lunch starts at 4 p.m. and the auction starts at 5 here under the oak trees.
And we'll have coverage of that as well here on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, along with our YouTube channel at Durand Broadcasting WRDN and our website at realcountry1430.com. Coverage of the livestock auction tomorrow. Join us for that if you can't make it. Down to our final four, as fifth place was just picked. That's 4, class 3. 3, all right. And we have our winner.
Really close top pair, in my opinion. You got a bigger class out here, so there's some trade-offs between them. One that I went ahead and started, definitely the biggest legged, the sharpest headed barrow that's still freshly presented, good out of his hip and his hind leg. He's really good up through his jawline. He's fresh in terms of the crest of his neck. I think he's sound enough. I think he's comfortable enough. That's a nice kind of a hog. The one that comes here in second definitely rivaled him in terms of width and just total shape and mass up high. I definitely think he's sound enough. The problem is he gets just a little too generic up front. He wants to get a little crestier in terms of the top side of his blade, gets a little shorter about his front end. He's not quite as big-legged as well, but still a nice kind of a hog. I like the type and the kind. One on the far side definitely is not wanting to be here in terms of the barrows wanting to break down just a little bit, but you can definitely tell that one's kind is right. That one's good in terms of his top line. He's got width, he's got shape, he's got bone, he's got power. You can definitely tell he's just not wanting to be here. He's wanting to run out of gas, get a little weak in terms of his lung capacity. Still a nice kind of a hog. One that comes here in 4, definitely one that you got to appreciate in terms of being sound and comfortable. We need to freshen him up in terms of his overall shape up high, but you can definitely, like again, you can tell his kind is right. He's bigger outline though. He's a little heavier weight. I still like that kind of a hug as well. The one that comes out here next, definitely in terms of front 2/3, I like him. We need to give him more angle to his hind leg. We need to open him up and to stouten him up a little bit more. One that comes out next, same can be said about him. Needs to be stoutened up in terms of his bone work and just opened up just a shade. On down the line, we got a set of hogs that either just need to be freshened up, need to be a little bit more shapely, or just need to be just better balanced to be anywhere higher today. Let's give this large class of Yorkshires a big round of applause.
And that Yorkshire Purebred Market Barrow class, first place was exhibited by Jack Steinmeier, second place by Nate Edwards, third place by Cashton Steinmeier. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be our naming of our champion Purebred Market Barrow. First, Berkshire, exhibited by Emily Zukowski. First, Chester, exhibited by Drew Pisa. First, Hampshire. First, Duroc, exhibited by Emily Zukowski. First, Hampshire, exhibited by Rylan Homestead. First, Poland China, exhibited by Emily Zukowski. First, Spot, exhibited by Elizabeth Weinzerl. First, Yorkshire, exhibited by Jack Steinmeier. Again, we're naming of our champion and reserve champion, Purebred Market Barrow. Class 24, Crossbred Market Barrow on deck.
Well, we're going to keep moving here. You get out here for your champion, Purebred Barrow. I think there's one that, even though I haven't really seen him just get and take a long stride quite yet, you can definitely tell he's built right. He's got a big enough bone underneath of him. He's really sharp in terms of his head and his neck. Came out of a really competitive class. He's super fresh in terms of his overall shape. Young lady with the Duroc's going to be your champion out of this division.
Our champion Purebred Market Barrow was exhibited by Emily Zukowski. We'll now have the second place Duroc, exhibited by Mariah Creaser, to the show ring.
you dropped that reserve Duroc out here. I think that one is very, very good in terms of covering the basics of still being big-legged, really sound, really comfortable. I love the angle to that one's hind leg. And if you want to be critical, is he pushing the age and weight limit just a touch? Maybe he is, but I still think he balances really well. Then you talk about another one out here that came out of a good class in terms of having quite a few in it. That Yorkshire barrow is very stout, very opened up and square, and definitely fresh in terms of his skin and hair. It's good ahead of his blade. That's the question that I had for him. Is he quite level enough right over his spine? But even when he gets his head up, he's level enough to win that class. But I think there's another one out here that's very good. The Duroc is going to be a reserve. Let's congratulate her.
Reserve champion purebred market barrow today. Our second place Duroc was exhibited by Mariah Creaser. Congratulations. We'll now be moving into our crossbred market barrow class, our class 24, excuse me. Please make your way to the show ring, class 24. Our lightweight class weighing 198 to 249 pounds. Again, class 24 to the show ring.
Again, welcome to the Dunn County Fair 2023 Swine Show, continuing this morning. We have 26 total classes. We're at class 23 this morning. Your home for farm news and markets throughout the entire day is WRDN Radio. We feature 7 hours of farm programming Monday through Friday. It all kicks off with the WRDN Morning Farm Report from 5 to 7. Hourly markets at 7, 8, noon, or at 9, 10, and 11. And we also have our noon farm show at 12:30 with farm markets, a midday market update, farm news, our ag weather as well. Chip Flory is in with Agri-Talk from 1 until 3. And from 3 until 4, it's America on Agriculture. During the 4:30, at 4:30, Susan Littlefield is in, wrapping up the day's markets, chatting with analysts from across the country with the final bell at 4:30. Listen on air and online at our website at realcountry1430.com or via Alexa and Google Home as well. Then your home for farm news and markets throughout the entire day is WRDN Radio. Beef show coming up this afternoon at 1. We'll have coverage of that on our YouTube channel at Duran Broadcasting WRDN, Facebook page as well, and on our website at realcountry1430.com. And those of you watching on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, where are you watching us from? Let us know. Put it in the comments. Love to hear from you this morning. At Michigan checking in, Utah, Milwaukee, Rock Falls, Nashville, Tennessee as well. Florida yesterday during the dairy show. So let us know where you're watching in the comment section of our Facebook page.
Well, you got some different shapes and sizes here, and the ones that I went ahead and started with are the most similar in their type and kind. One that I start the class with, the young lady over here. One that's super sound, super comfortable. I think balances really well. It's got tons of shape up high, but I think is still agile on the move. She reaches and moves out of her, or he reaches and moves out of his shoulder really good. He's stout in terms of his bone. He's good in terms of his head. I think he's still fresh enough for me. I think that's a nice kind of a barrel. Young man on the far side is super stout and super good headed kind of a barrel. I like that about him. I think he's still sound enough. He's got a big top plate into him. The problem is for me is he's carrying just a little bit too much waste down through the lower portion of his body. Gets just a little ground pounderish to me. Not saying he is a ground pounder, but that's what it looks like when you got that much belly in him. If we can clean that up and just make that just a shot neater, it would have made that top pair really difficult. One that comes here in third, definitely one that's super long and extended. I like that like him in terms of his hip and his hind leg. For me today, gets just a little more refined in terms of his overall bone work. Still a nice kind of a barrow in his own right. One that comes out next, definitely one that you can appreciate for the basics. He's big enough in terms of his kind. He's got some shape up high. For me today, he needs to be stouter in terms of his bone. He needs to be opened up just a shade. One that goes out on the far side. Love the bone. I like his build and I like his kind. We need to give him more shape going away. We need to open him up. Same can be said for the one that comes out next. Definitely one that's sound and comfortable. It's got some shape to him. This one just needs more width. This needs more substance. I like the kind that one represents. We just need to open him up. One that's got tons of width and shape comes out next. This one doesn't balance for me. Gets a little coarser in terms of his ham loin junction. He gets a little bit more posty in terms of his hind leg. The one that rounds out the class just needs more muscle to be anywhere higher today. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In Class 24, the lightweight crossbred market barrow, first was exhibited by Mariah Creaser, second by Brenna Berg. We'll now be going into our medium weight crossbred market barrow class, Class 25 to the show ring.
Well, we're going to have another big class as well. Thank you to our video stream sponsors as well, including Dunn Energy, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative, and Tech, your premier communications and entertainment provider. Adam Super Service, your Napa Gold Car Care Center, Durand. Prime Realty of Durand. Visit their website at primerealitymidwest.com. Prime Realty, they are the area's #1 home seller. SFB Security Financial Bank, Durand, River Falls, Eau Claire, Ladysmith,
and in the show
Bloomer,
ring is
and
our
Black River
Class
Falls.
25, our medium weight barrows that weighed 250 to 286 pounds. 250 to 286. We'll follow by our last class of the day here in our market class, Class 26.
Also, thank you to Alcivia Co-op, a leading member-owned agriculture fuel cooperative serving Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois. Visit alcivia.com. Please thank all of our sponsors as they make our video streams possible. Give our sponsors a call, visit them online, and send them an email or visit their business as well and tell them thank you for supporting our video stream broadcasts. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Duran Broadcasting WRDN. Don't forget to click the bell for future notifications. Today's Swine Show will be posted to our YouTube channel as well later on this afternoon. So again, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Duran Broadcasting WRDN. Down to the last 6. All right, down to the last 4. Last 3.
Definitely a difficult class to sort. You got 12 head out here that can go a few different ways. You got a pair of barrels that just match together just a little bit better. And I'm not saying you can't switch the pair because you can definitely do that. One that starts the class has got just a little sharper head, definitely just a touch more bone, just a little bit more feature. One that balances really well. He's sound on his feet and his legs. He's got some shape up high. I think he's good out of his hip. It's a nice kind of a barrel. Young ladies, blue loin barrel comes out next here in second. One that's maybe got just a touch more turn up high, but this guy is not as big-footed, doesn't have near the bone that the one that starts the class. He's a similar type barrel, and I can definitely appreciate that. Like I said, I like the width, I like the muscle shape up high. We just need to make him bigger footed to move him anywhere higher. The chromed up barrel that comes out next, similar style in terms of being up-headed, good shape kind of a barrel that's sound and comfortable. We need to just blow him apart through the center portion of his body and just open him up a skosh. Gotta like the leanness, gotta like the cutability that he brings to the table. Stout powerhouse barrel comes out next, just carrying a little bit too much condition for me today. He gets a little crespier headed, he gets a little blander in terms of his overall muscle shape. A pair of barrels that come out next, a pair that are very similar in terms of being moderate, stout, and dense. We need to make them just more extended and just make them bigger in their overall frame size. I need to freshen them up a little bit. Another pair of barrels that are definitely sound and comfortable. We need to either open them up or just give them more muscle shape. And on down the line, we just need to give these hogs just a shot more shape, just a shot more turn up high to be anywhere higher today. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In that medium weight crossbred market barrow class, first place was exhibited by Brenna Berg, second place by Gabriella Wantock, third place by Luke Pemper. We're now entering our final class of our crossbred market barrows, class 26 to the show ring. These hogs weighed 287 to a whopping 346 pounds.
Whoa, got some of our real big boys in this last class. Again, final class today. They will be doing showmanship. We step away after this final class, and once they name all of the Supreme Champions, that's where we will step away and get ready for the beef show, which will be coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Again, we'll have the beef show 1 o'clock this afternoon. Facebook page, YouTube channel at Duran Broadcasting WRDN, and also on our website at realcountry1430.com. Again, our final class this afternoon, or this morning rather, and then we'll have the beef show starting at about 1 o'clock.
Again, this is our final class of market animals for today. After this class, we'll name our champion crossbred market barrow, followed by our naming of our overall market champion between our barrows and gilts. Again, just a reminder about the Dunn County Livestock Auction will be held here under the oak tree on Saturday evening. The buyer's lunch starts at 4 p.m. The auction starts at 5 p.m. This class of market barrows are a little on the heavier side, but for the buyers that are interested, your maximum weight that you pay for is 280. So all of these hogs will have a few extra pounds that you won't have to pay for coming to bid on Saturday night. So again, livestock auction here starts at 5 p.m. for those buyers. Feel free to come early for a lunch at 4 p.m.
Well, there you go. Got some free meat out there with the auction with some of these bigger boys. Again, we'll have coverage of the livestock auction as well coming up on Saturday at about 4:45 is when we'll start the stream. Down to the final 5.
As the judge is finishing this last class of market barrows, we again want to thank Brian Winnikins with WRDN, who's live broadcasting the show today. He's been doing several of the livestock shows, the sheep and goats yesterday, as well as dairy, and we'll do beef this afternoon, so we appreciate WRDN being here. Brian is with Duran Broadcasting. He is a National Association of Farm Broadcasters, has been awarded, and I see we're also graced with the presence of Bob Bolsold. So Bob, thanks for joining us in Wax Radio, another Hall of Fame award winner in national broadcasting. So our area is very fortunate to have two such well-known radio broadcasters.
You got some trade-offs in this class, and there's some parts and pieces that you can definitely go towards. One that starts the class, I understand he's not the most extended up front, but in terms of hip shape and total meat and muscle in this hog for this kind of a weight range, I think he needs to win. He can be more extended up front, and I'm not denying that, but that's still a stout powerhouse hog that still moves and motor's playing good enough for me. The young lady with the belted hog, in terms of being designed the way I like him, I think that one's very good. I think that one's got some shape up high. We need to clean him up in terms of his head and his front end. We could just give him a touch more shape going right away, but in terms of a type and kind of a barrow that I like, it's a very nice kind of a hog. The one that's over here on the far side, in terms of this width and power, I think he matches. We can definitely freshen him up in terms of the overall shape that he has on the top side of his skeleton. The cool colored barrow that comes out next. In terms of leanness and design, I like this one. I love it. I like the build that he brings to the table. Gets too dry through the center portion of his body. He needs to be just blown apart just a little bit more. Same can be said for the one that comes out next. Length of body and leanness I like. We need to stouten him up just a little bit and just blow him apart up high. The one that comes out next, he's long-bodied, he's lean, he's high cut ability. We need to open him up off both ends of his skeleton. Got a set of hogs down here that for me today. Just need more meat and muscle to move them anywhere higher. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
In our heavyweight crossbred market barrel class, first was exhibited by Chloe Doomer, second by Caleb Biesterveld, and third by Cooper Kitchener, we hope. All right. We'll now be naming our champion crossbred market barrel. In our lightweight class, first place was exhibited by Mariah Creaser. Our medium class weights, first place exhibited by Brenna Berg. Our heavyweight class was exhibited by Chloe Doomer.
All right, doing our championship runs here. Beef show starting at 1 o'clock.
Second place in each of these 3 classes should be on deck for naming a reserve champion.
And those of you watching on our Facebook page at WRDN 1430 AM stereo and 107.3 FM, let us know where you're watching from today. To find out where folks are watching from, we've had Salt Lake City check in, Nashville, Milwaukee, Michigan, Rock Falls here in the area.
Well, before I name your champion crossbred and eventually your champion overall barrel, I wanted to thank a few people. I wanted to thank the people that had me come out here. I understand it's a little last-minute deal, but I want to thank the fair board and the people in charge of being able to get the judges. It's been a fun couple days. It's been a hot couple of days, but the people have been fun to work with. Great set of kids that we have out here. Also wanted to thank my parents for driving me the whole 7 hours up here. Yes, it is a far drive for me to be able to come up here. I don't drive super well by myself. I tend to get a little tired after about 5 or 6 hours, and my dad's been able to drive me to about 95% of my shows, and think the whole reason why I judge in the first place and am as fluent on the mic as I am, and that's all because of my mom. She actually went to college to be able to be on the radio. She is the whole reason why I show livestock. She's the whole reason why I'm here. So I'd be hugely grateful to my parents. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. I want everybody to give all the parents, but in the back, a huge round of applause, because if it wasn't for them, none of these kids would be here. None of you buyers would have any pigs to buy or any sheep to buy. If it wasn't for them, none of this would be possible. You get out here for your champion crossbred. I think there's one that just fits my bill just a little bit more, and I understand. I'm lining up, or I'm tending to line up a sale order, and I know how premium auctions work. We do have one at our county fair, which is happening right now. I was never able to sell in it because it didn't start until after I was too old, which is disappointing for me. But like I said, I know how they work. I know how things are done. But that doesn't matter to me. I'm hired to pick the type of kind of hog that I want to pick. I'm hired to pick the best one in the show, and there's only one out here that does that for me. Young Ladies Lightweight's going to be a champion crossbred barrel.
Our champion crossbred market barrow is exhibited by Mariah Creaser. We'd have second place from that class, which was exhibited by Brenna Berg.
Again, later this afternoon, we'll have the beef show starting at about 1 o'clock. Have that on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and also website. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Duran Broadcasting WRDN. Click on the little bell for future notifications. The swine show will be posted to the channel here later this afternoon. We have the dairy show from yesterday already on the channel. We have some of the livestock shows from the Northern Wisconsin State Fair as well. that are posted. Again, at our YouTube channel at Durand Broadcasting, WRDN.
Again, we're just waiting on that second place Class 24 animal to come to the show ring for naming of our reserve champion market barrel. Then we'll name our overall market champion. So we would ask our reserve champion Duroc, our market barrel, to be on deck. Our champion Gilts also to be on deck for naming of our overall market champion.
And those of you watching this afternoon from on our Facebook page, rather, let us know where you're watching from. Put that in the comments. And having folks checking in from not only Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Rock Falls, but Nashville, Salt Lake City, also Michigan. We had Florida yesterday during the dairy show as well. All right, still going for that reserve champion here.
You dropped that second place out here. I think one that matches that champion incredibly well. It might be a little longer and just fresher about his head. He's not as big-legged as the one that started that. But I still think that one is a stout powerhouse barrel that still moves and motors incredibly well. I mean, it's between him and maybe another one out here. There's one that's just super stout, super opened up, needs to be extended just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and keep the two lightweights together. Let's give those two exhibitors a big round of applause.
The reserve champion crossbred market barrel was exhibited by Brenna Berg in that lightweight class. We will now be naming our overall market champion. So we would ask our champion purebred market gilt, exhibited by Miranda Creaser. Our champion crossbred market gilt, also exhibited by Miranda Creaser. Our purebred market barrow, the Duroc, exhibited by Emily Zukowski. And our champion crossbred market barrow, exhibited by Mariah Creaser, all to the show ring for naming of our overall market champion.
Overall market champion now to be judged here as the champions come in.
The reserve market animals should be on deck for naming of our reserve overall market champion. Again, our purebred market gilt was awarded to a Yorkshire, exhibited by Mariah Creaser, weighing 241 pounds. Our crossbred market gilt champion was awarded to Mariah Creaser, whose hog weighed 276 pounds. Our purebred market barrow, exhibited by Emily Zukowski, the Duroc, weighed 289 pounds. And our champion crossbred market barrow, exhibited by Mariah Creaser, weighed 207 pounds.
Well, we still got showmanship to go to, and we got to pick a top 5 out here. Overall, I think it's been a fun day. It's been a good set of hogs, especially on the top end. You get out here for your overall champion market hog, and I think there's one that's just very, very flexible, one that's really gets out and goes, and big-legged, stout-headed, but still plenty good ahead of his or her blade. Really, really square off both ends of their skeleton. Is this one the most anywhere? Maybe not, but I think this one balances really well for me. Young lady right here in front of me with the crossbred gilt is going to be your champion market hog.
Our overall market champion was exhibited by Mariah Creaser. We'll now have our crossbred market gilt into the show ring for naming of our overall reserve champion.
You dropped that second place crossbred and one that's just deadly in terms of bone and feature. And the only thing I question is that one extended enough, but I still love that one's build. It's between that one and maybe another one or two out here for your reserve. I think that Duroc barrow is very, very good. You question if his right hind leg is quite good enough, but I love the freshness that one brings to the table. Got that lightweight barrow. And the only question that I had on that lightweight barrow is he heavy enough to bring top dollar in a premium auction? Because I think that one's build and balances incredibly well. He's my next favorite. He's going to be your reserve. Let's congratulate him.
Our reserve overall market champion today is the crossbred market barrow exhibited by Mariah Creaser.
Drop that reserve crossbred barrow out here. I love that one in terms of his rib cage, and that one matched the champion very well. There's another one in terms of bone and feature I think is very, very good. Your third overall is going to be your reserve crossbred gilt. Let's give that young man a big round of applause.
Our third place overall market champion was exhibited by Nate Edwards.
Fourth overall is going to be the Duroc barrow right here in front of me. Fresh and good up front. The hind leg could be fixed just a shade, but that one's very, very good. Let's give him give her a big round of applause.
Our fourth place champion exhibited by Emily Zukowski.
And then you drop that reserve Duroc, and I thought that pair was very, very close. I mean, I love that one's hind leg. That one's hind leg is probably just a notch better than the champion in that division. But again, there's another one out here for fifth overall that I think is very, very good. Your Duroc gilt on the far side is going to be your fifth overall. Let's give that young lady a big round of applause.
And our fifth place overall is exhibited by Miranda Creaser. That concludes our market show for today. Now we'll be moving into bred and owned, starting with our class of bred and owned gilts. We should have 6 hogs to the show ring for bred and owned gilt.
Okay, so bred and owned gilts now coming up. I guess we're getting ready for showmanship as well, so we are going to step away from here, and we will return this afternoon, 1 o'clock for the beef show. We're going to have the beef show here coming up at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Till then,